abroad. This is what matters most at this time.
Boosting Diginet speeds for free to over 20,000 customers and pledging over $7 million to the COVID-19 Relief Fund by way of $1 million in cash and $6 million in value to our customers is just one of our ways of showing we are here for Belize.
You can depend on Digi. Together, we will get through this challenging time and emerge even stronger. Stay safe, Belize.
We continue to serve you. We continue to keep the lights on. We continue to care. We will always be right here for you.
Does the open road on a street cruiser sound like fun to you? What about riding through some dirt roads on a brand new Leafan trail bike? Perhaps zipping through the city is more your vibe. Whatever Leafan fits your lifestyle best, we've got it. Visit us or any of our distributors nationwide, or go online to see our wide range of Leafan motorcycles and parts. Leafan, bold, affordable, reliable.
Belikin beer has proudly been brewed in Belize since 1969. Over these past 50 years, we've been through a lot together. And we as a country have always stuck together, helped each other out, and persevered with a positive, can-do attitude. And while we know that things are unusual this year, we Belizeans are resilient, and we're going to do what's needed to keep ourselves safe and keep our country moving forward. So what we really need at this moment is family togetherness at home with good rice and beans. A party on the beach? Don't worry, we'll have that again soon. The Agric Show, that too will be back. 2020 Lobster Fest? Time will tell. Belikin takes great pride being part of all these celebrations, both big and small. And we will continue to do so once the time is right. What matters most right now is protecting our loved ones, keeping a healthy distance from others, and being strong together. Stay strong, Belize. Belikin, the beer of Belize.
During these uncertain times, children may be worried, confused, and are looking for reassurance. With good communication, parents and caregivers can help children better cope with the stress in times of emergencies. Here are a few tips on how to approach having discussions. Be honest. Don't be afraid to discuss the coronavirus with them. It is important to explain the facts to them, but in a way that is easy for your children to understand, like using videos or comics. Encourage children to ask questions and express their feelings with you. Invite them to tell you anything they may have heard about the coronavirus and how they feel. Offer reassurance. Kids worry, especially when they are bombarded with information. Assure them that the best way to avoid getting the virus is by following the safety tips, such as properly washing their hands and not touching their faces. For more information, visit our website.
all persons are requested to immediately cease and desist from setting fire to any bush, milpa, field, pasture, grass, or any household or yard waste during the state of emergency. There's a severe drought upon us. Smoke pollution from fires degrades air quality and can negatively affect persons with asthma and other respiratory ailments. Especially at this time, we need to keep our lungs clean and healthy. Through satellite tracking, the ministry can determine in real time the location of bushfires anywhere in Belize. If you are burning, please heed this advisory and stop the burning immediately. If you are affected by smoke pollution, please call your nearest police station to report anyone you see burning yard waste, bush, or fields.
Last night we told you that the COVID-19 Unemployment Relief Program has received 62,706 applications, and up to yesterday 7,247 applications had been processed for payment. Approximately 7,500 additional applications are currently being processed and should be ready for approval in stages. But for many thousands of jobless Belizeans, relief has been too slow to come. That's why lines upon lines were formed across the country today. Over 4,000 people picked their food pantry with the usual $12 charge waived. But there is also a new program called Food Packages, in which government pays local grocer to hand out $150 worth of grocery packages to qualifying persons every 2 weeks. It's a $10 million social relief program to provide relief to the most needy during the COVID crisis. And we found out more about it today.
Lines have become a common sight in COVID-19 Belize. And this morning we saw bank lines, amazingly long credit union lines, and even Western Union lines. But what about bread lines? If those haven't been a common sight, that began to change today, because food packages, along with enhanced food pantries, started to go out in what is looking like a massive deployment of social assistance. But what are packages and pantries? Minister Anthony Boots Martinez broke that down for us today.
It's a food pantry and food package. There's a difference. The food pantry is the regular food pantry for people who were on food pantry. The food packages is for people who need help, and it's sort of the 6 or 1 1/2 a dozen of the other, because what we did with the food pantry is to bring it on par with the food package. Now a food package entails 10 pounds of rice, 10 pounds of beans, 10 pounds of flour, 5 pounds of white sugar, 2 chicken, 2 tin of baking powder, 4 bathing soap, 2 Clorox, 2 soap powder, fruits and vegetables.
So who is eligible?
Condensed milk.
So who is eligible for it, and who they get it? How many people?
Well, right now at this point, you need to call in or go on the website for the Ministry of Human Development. Then they interview you. People who are not eligible are the people who want to get the $150, public officers, including teachers, policemen and so, and if you're there for booth or pantry, and it is for everybody. PUP, UDP, no kind of P, Jehovah Witness, Catholic, Muslim, everybody. And that's why it's a ministry doing the assessment, because we need to account for it in terms of the IFI so government can get back their money.
You must have and say, you could send your people there from Port Loyola and say,
but all I'm saying,
put that in for
make I
me.
tell you how the process works. I can't send nobody because nobody is working physically. You could call in. When you call in, the people then call you back and give an interview, give your name and everything also. And they have a lot of people from Port Loyola who is not qualified because they on pantry and booths. So they no, so you just have to be real. That don't mean make the assessment. The people then call you back and give you an interview. As a matter of fact, we have cases where teachers apply, public officers apply, even guys. But when we have the system tying to booths, pantry, the unemployment benefit, who all they get pension for social security, pensioners to a certain extent is exempted from the program. So the thing is that the assessment has to be right if we are to help the needy people in this country.
And while we can't swear for COVID procedures, according to this woman, on a normal basis, it's your area rep who secures you a pantry card.
Your minister, with the minister, which would be your area representative, establish the card to your name, and after that, every week you have to get $12, and you purchase it to the back of this building, and that's you get the bag of stuffs, no? The rice, the beans, the flour, the cabbage, the potato, that is what you receive from back there.
So how did you hear that it was going to be free from this point?
I was at my son has a phone, no? So he said, Mom, which is Kenton Galvez, no? He said, Mom, the three establishments who we usually get pantry from, those are the ones who will be giving the pantries them free.
How difficult has it been trying to secure supplies at this time?
Well, right now it's not too bad, but the way how everything is operating for a single mom who don't have job, I would really appreciate like 5 bags.
But those eligible for food packages are being vetted by the Ministry of Human Development in a scheme meant to help consumers and their local grocery stores.
For example, if you don't get approval from the Ministry of Human Development, you can't get no package. Package not the out there, they give out like that where people they go about in a truck and say, you need help.
But people are still complaining. And this morning, we met a woman standing in her pantry line who was upset about a rice shortage and her exclusion from the first free pantry.
Then they give away pantry, right? Back at free, back at that $12 for a pantry, right? But we're not like it, this government or whoever set this rule here, that once you buy last week, you can't get no grocery this week. Miss, where buy last week done for last week, the last week? Then they give everything, they give everything to the people there. Now they ask about because you buy last week, miss, I pay my money last week, this week, that's free. I supposed to get my pantry, and I've been to wait till next week, and they don't run out of rice. So where we get next week? Tell you, I there for 6 o'clock this morning. For 6 o'clock this morning for your, but after 11 you can't get none because you buy it last week. That's not fair, miss.
Charisse Halsall, 7 News.
Up to this evening, the ministry was still crunching the numbers on how many packages had been authorized and picked up today. Also, we note that with the poultry prices reduced, the food pantry and food package programs should use up to about 12,000 chickens in the coming week. Of course, questions of transparency concerning the $10 to $18 million slated for this program invariably arise. Jules Vasquez put those questions to Boots Martinez today, and we'll have that for you later in the news. And we showed you at the stop of that story that there are long lines everywhere, especially at Western Unions and MoneyGram. Belizeans desperate for cash are eagerly awaiting remittances from their relatives abroad. 2 of our colleagues in the south have sent in footage showing long lines and growing frustration. We start in Punta Gorda, where PGTV captured a line outside Mahong's store, which is also the Western Union agent.
It's at 8:30, right? And then he can't open yet.
This man they play with people, my brother. Put this man for the media, this man don't want to give people. This man they use their own discussion who forget money, how much you forget. PG people have to stand up for their right. This man they play with people, brother.
We wait for money, man.
So before this thing get out of hand, we don't call police so much time. Police never want to deal with this man. This man they use their own discretion. If the people don't stand up and talk for their right, then I get nothing.
Owner of the store, Peter Mahong, says that this morning the Western Union machine wasn't working. He called the Belize City branch for assistance, but the machine didn't come back online until 11:30, and the store is mandated by the state of emergency to close at 12 noon. But Mahong says that if customers couldn't wait, they had the option of doing business at another agent down the street. We are told these two businesses play a sort of cat and mouse game. And in Dangriga, there were lines this morning as well, and desperation without social distancing. Harry Arzu has this report.
Amid the COVID-19 pandemic, it is clear that residents of Dangriga, as well as residents from surrounding communities, are in dire need, especially when it comes to food. Today, it was a chaotic situation in the initial stage at a MoneyGram located on Ramos Road, where a number of residents were waiting for money sent from abroad. It is clear that while waiting in line, social or physical distancing was not being practiced. We spoke with one of them who was in line.
For last week, I don't eat. And people send a little money for me for last week. It's hard was. It means that it's so hard for me to get my personal money. And from last week, I got 3 dogs, I got myself, and I haven't eaten nothing from last week apart from the little thing that I've been given. And I don't like to be what we call a person who does beg, a beggar, and be a burden to no one. My problem is that I can't get my money from last week. Why? Because of the problem, the money from don't open. They don't want to open to extend the services to the people there who are in need.
There are no new COVID-19 positive tests to report tonight. The most recent figures from the Minister of Health says that 629 tests have been performed with 611 negative results. 60 negative results in Corozal with 4 positive, 36 negative results and no positives in Orange Walk. In the Belize district, 279 negatives with 8 positives. In the Cayo district, 182 negatives with 6 positives. In the Stan Creek district, 24 negatives with no positives. In the Toledo district, 23 negatives and 0 positives. 46 cases are currently under investigation. But while that is slightly encouraging, the national state of emergency remains in effect until at least the end of this month. And the Attorney General today announced that on Friday, the regulations would be tweaked once again. Here's what he said on Meet the Experts today.
It's not the law, no, but it will be the law Friday that banks will be open from 8 to 4, public utilities will be open from 8 to 4, so you can pay your bills only. There will be a curfew that allows children 16 and under to be on the streets and in the public only from 8 to 4. And then doctors will only be allowed to work at one of either the private institutions or the public institutions. You can't work in both places, so that there isn't any chance of any conflict or of whatever kind. So if you're a doctor, pick one.
That last provision, presumably to avoid cross-contamination or confusion between doctors, between public and private hospitals, is sure to be controversial because it may be difficult to restrict specialist doctors who only work 20 hours weekly at the KHMH. So while that new regulation may bear its own complications, the restrictive regulations for and all locations shut down on Sundays during the state of emergency are being slightly tweaked for essential services. Perfit explained.
Per Sunday, if you don't work for the Ministry of National Security, if you don't work for border management and immigration, customs, if you're not a cabinet member or a member of the National Assembly, if you don't work in the medical field, if you don't work for private security, if you don't work for public use of water or a farmer, if you're not a member of the media, Port Authority, Governor General, National Fire Service, BEL, BWSL, Telemedia, SpeedNet, if you don't work for any of those 19 things that I just mentioned, you can't be on the street on a Sunday. In other words then, on a Sunday, everything will close except the 19 things where I just mentioned. If we don't tighten up and more people contract this disease, then indeed every day will be like Sunday. Because then the regulations that operate to Sunday, that operate on Sunday, will operate for every day. So everything will lock down absolutely completely.
There will still be no exercise allowed on Sunday morning and no passes needed. So while we hope the Sunday national lockdown is not a portent of things to come, Perifete says citizens can adjust. Just look at the fact that everyone has figured out a way to get along without curfew passes, or as he calls them.
I have signed no sweetheart pass, which is evidence once again that nobody in Belize has a sweetheart, and so there's no need for any. So everybody is faithful. Everybody is happy with who they're with at home at 8 p.m., and there was no need to issue any of those. So if anybody say they have a pass badge signed by me, then they lie, because I have signed none.
And will any be signed?
Well, it depends on the situation. So far, we have assessed many situations, and what we've discovered is that people don't really need the pass, because arrangements can be made for you without you necessarily having a pass.
And we take a break now. When we come back, a bishop passes. We'll look back at the life and legacy of Doric Wright and the food wastage situation. What is the solution?
Smart is fully prepared for the demands on our network to facilitate those working from home and for customers to continue communicate with friends and family. With the entire country at home, our team has pushed for more innovative services and promotions like our double data, along with new ways of purchasing mobile services via our app and agents countrywide. Smart is proud to have dedicated staff working from home as well as out in the field to keep communication flowing. Customers can also follow our online fitness, science, comedy, and other great segments to continue being active at home. Smart has also sponsored the Ministry of Health free hotline, along with gifting all our frontline medical personnel a prepaid number with $50 credit to stay in contact in these times. Be assured we are with you, and look out for more weekly promotions on SMS, voice, and data. Be smart and be safe.
I am Ronald, lineman lead hand at BL. We are an essential service and we are doing everything we can to make sure that we keep the lights on for our customers.
I work outdoors and my job is to provide safe and reliable power.
Our teams continue to serve communities across Belize.
Digi, your national telecom, would like to assure all Belizeans that we will continue to keep you connected during this challenging time, providing you with high-quality services that you depend upon each day. The resilience and the reliability of both our staff and our networks will ensure that you are able to keep working, learning, and most importantly, communicating with your loved ones at home and abroad. This is what matters most at this time.
Boosting Diginet speeds for free to over 20,000 customers and pledging over $7 million to the COVID-19 Relief Fund by way of $1 million in cash and $6 million in value to our customers is just one of our ways of showing we are here for Belize.
You can depend on Digi. Together, we will get through this challenging time and emerge even stronger. Stay safe, Belize.
Does the open road on a street cruiser sound like fun to you? What about riding through some dirt roads on a brand new Leafan trail bike? Perhaps zipping through the city is more your vibe. Whatever Leafan fits your lifestyle best, we've got it. Visit us or any of our distributors nationwide, or go online to see our wide range of Leafan motorcycles and parts. Leafan, bold, affordable, reliable.
Belikin beer has proudly been brewed in Belize since 1969. Over these past 50 years, we've been through a lot together. And we as a country have always stuck together, helped each other out, and persevered with a positive, can-do attitude. And while we know that things are unusual this year, we Belizeans are resilient. And we're going to do what's needed to keep ourselves safe and keep our country moving forward. So what we really need at this moment is family togetherness at home with good rice and beans. A party on the beach? Don't worry, we'll have that again soon. The Agric Show, that too will be back. 2020 Lobster Fest? Time will tell. Belikin takes great pride being part of all these celebrations, both big and small, and we will continue to do so once the time is right. What matters most right now is protecting our loved ones, keeping a healthy distance from others, and being strong together. Stay strong, Belize. Belikin, the beer of Belize.
Face it, everything has changed. You're at home, your kids are home, we're all at home. And right now it's more important than ever to stay safe by staying inside. And staying inside means watching a lot more TV. MyTV. With MyTV, you can now stream up to 100 channels of live news updates, pay-per-view events, and movies on demand on any of your devices. No strings attached. We are making it easier so you can stay informed and entertained. Let's do our part to keep our communities safe. Do the right thing and stay connected with NextGen. Signing up is easy. Apply for your MyTV subscription on our website at www.centraltv.bz.
NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
Last night, we told you about the hardship that the poultry and dairy producers of Spanish Lookout are facing due to the state of emergency and the COVID-19 pandemic. The poultry producers are staring down a 50% decrease in local sales because Belizeans just aren't buying chicken in the usual quantities. So the poultry producers will run out of cold storage space in a few weeks' time due to all those unsold chickens. Dairy producers actually had to throw away milk because it has a short life on the shelves, and their product also wasn't selling as well. Wasting food in this time of crisis doesn't sit well with the PUP's Orange Walk South area rep Hossein Mai. He and Agriculture Minister Godwin House are members of the COVID-19 Agriculture Response Team, which was set up to keep a close eye on the country's food security during the crisis of this pandemic. Mai spoke with us this afternoon via video chat about the topic. He told us that he has been advocating that the government buys agricultural produce directly from the farmers, which can then be provided to the needy Belizeans who lost their jobs. Here's how he explained why the decision makers shouldn't allow any more food to be thrown away because the local market is underperforming in these COVID times.
The issue is not an issue of national food security because there is food in the country. The problem is household food security. The food is there in the field. But how do we get it to the household? That bridge is supposed to be in place by the government. Now, there is money for that. Now, what method you use is a different matter. The bridge between the producer and the household is not there. And if it's there, it is inefficient. Having food going through first the human development programs, in my view, is not the best way to do it. The government, we have proposed to the government, you need to bulk buy. Go and say, I will buy 10 containers of red kidney beans from the Maronites. I want you to pack it for me in 2-pound bags and distribute that to the people. What is happening is that the food is there, but there's no purchasing power. The government has the money, but yet the food cannot reach the table of the Belizean people. Yesterday, I heard the news that the dairy industry was throwing away milk. There is not in this country, this is not the time right now to throw away an ounce of milk or one grain of corn. This is the moment of crisis. Well, this morning I got a call at 6 o'clock that one gentleman has 35,000 pounds of pork meat. And he has no storage, no more cold storage. What to do with it? So he called us, I'm giving it away cheap, $2 for the pound of leg and shoulder, and $3 for pork chops and ribs. But please, Mr. Mai, please help me. We have proposed to the government, and we have proposed, and we spoke about this again in the meeting, that government must go and bulk buy the meat and store it in the cold storage. We have enough cold storage. We could find cold storage. There is. Some say there's not. There is cold storage. We need to do a little bit of retrofitting, but there is. If you want to store, you can store. You can have cold storage. Let us do that and then give it away to the people. And what we are doing here is creating an opportunity for the merchants. Look, the merchants, the poultry processors are telling you, if you buy 2 crates of chicken, I will give you 1 free. So the merchants buy the 2 cases and they get 1 free. But that 1 free, they don't give it away. They sell that. So the people are not benefiting from the free chicken. It is the merchants. So why don't you go to the poultry plants, buy the chicken and give it out to the people? If they give you free, it is to give out to the people, not to sell.
We'll have more on the cattle side of this developing story tomorrow. Reliable reports say that the trade in beef has been stopped because it used to go through the back to Guatemala, so to speak, transmitting Bullet Tree Village. But now the village chairman there has put a stop to it, and that's more on that tomorrow. Testing for COVID-19 remains one of the Belize's biggest challenges, and while concerns abound about whether enough tests are being done, less has been said about how safely the tests we do are administered. That's because no matter how you get tested, you still have to interact with a medical professional, which could put you and the healthcare worker at risk. But one Belmopan hardware store has developed a solution, an outdoor screening center that lets you get a COVID-19 test without having to come into direct contact with anyone else. It's based on the example of Korean testing booths that Darwin Gallardo saw online. Gallardo says he has close friends working as medical practitioners at the Western Regional Hospital and was inspired to organize his workmen to build a COVID-19 testing booth for the safety of all.
The inspiration behind it was I saw a post on Facebook that someone posted. They said that this would be good to have. Its intended use is to have one nurse or doctor inside the booth, being able to assess the patient in front of you or give them a test without having direct contact with the patient. We've also drilled a hole for a stethoscope that allows the doctor or nurse to do a lung test to see if their lungs are functioning properly from inside the booth. The delivery system was actually something that we came up with. We use PVC piping and fittings, inside the boot, it is covered with a cap. The doctor or nurse would uncap it, drop in whatever they want to drop in, and then cap it back. Patient outside then brings down the little door system and takes out whatever the doctor is sending through. So that there's no physical contact between the patient and the doctor. My ultimate hope is, for this unit to end up at Belmopan Regional. Like I said, I have 2 friends there. They love it. They're waiting for it, and we're hoping to deliver it later today.
You see, the team that's working here came up with the idea that we had to isolate and keep the staff safe while we are doing our swabbing, the swabbing of suspected cases or patients that come to us with symptoms. We have our personal protective equipment, but we wanted to take it a little bit a step further, because every time you swab, you basically need to go into one PPE, and it's becoming rather expensive to do that. So to address that, we sent out a plea to the public about getting this swabbing booth. This is the end product of a lot of hard work and thinking.
But the idea behind the booth is simply a barrier between yourself and the doctor or nurse to feel a little bit more safe. Also, not to wear the PPE all times, because I hear it's very hot. We've installed a fan inside with 2 heat extractors on the ceiling that blows out the hot air, and the fan is located on the bottom, which blows the air up, allowing the heat to escape quicker.
Special thanks to Festive Films in Belmopan for the photography and the interviews in that piece. Hospitals and health officials interested in COVID-19 testing booths can contact Gallardo Services and Hardware at 610-6432. This first unit cost $1,700 to $1,900, but that can be reduced by using less robust materials for an indoor unit. Doug Singh resigned in a flash yesterday after an uncut interview with a reporter was leaked. In it, a clearly impatient and exasperated Singh is heard to be expressing deep resentment verging on detestation for unemployed persons trying to access the COVID Unemployment Relief Fund. The exposure was too great. Within 2 hours of it being released, Singh resigned as the chairman of the Social Security Board, the Elections and Boundaries Commission, and as BTL director. These are all posts that the Prime Minister had assigned him to as one of the leading private sector minds in the Barrow administration. For Singh, a former senator, minister, and all-purpose chairman, it is a propitious and unthinkable crash and burn. But who is to blame? Singh for his loose lips, or the journalist for leaking an entire phone conversation which he never said that he was recording? Jules Vasquez looked at this today.
Good afternoon.
Yes, Mr. Humes.
Yes, this is Mr. Singh, no?
Correct.
Yes, this is Yaron. How are you doing?
The 19-minute interview whipped around WhatsApp yesterday evening at the speed of sound, leaving listeners agog.
It hard to listen to people complain when they're getting something for free. So they're lucky.
What was going on was this powerful man, a 5-star general in the Barrow administration, was way too candid, cavalier, and callous in his remarks to Aaron Humes from Breaking Belize News, a reporter with whom he did not have a personal friendship or a relationship of trust. I spoke to my colleague Renee Trujillo about it.
I contacted Mr. Singh right away, and he basically explained to me that he wasn't aware that the phone call was recorded. The first thing that came into my mind was that was done so incorrectly. The entire phone call, I spoke to Aaron this morning, and he explained to me the entire situation, how everything unfolded. And basically his biggest mistake was putting it in that chat group.
It is unethical to record someone as a journalist without their knowledge. Why is it unethical? Because it's not transparent, it's sneaky. And how can we demand transparency of others when we do not hold that standard for ourselves? Second, I accept and know that people do record calls, but it is a gross error in judgment to put an uncut, unpermitted recorded call into a group where there are other actors and to think that that will be okay. But my point is that Doug ultimately is to blame. In truth, all politicians should expect, yes, we have relationships of trust, but from the fact that Doug told me he did not even know who he was calling back. He missed a call and then he called and found out it's Aaron. Mm-hmm. And that's Aaron's account as well, that Doug called him. Mm-hmm. That means you and him do not have a relationship. In my mind, Aaron was technically wrong, was ethically wrong to not disclose that he was recording and then circulate the recording. He made a gross error in judgment in putting it into a chat group. But ultimately, Doug is a public figure who always has to expect that he's being quoted, and he was way to hell out of line. And that is how a titan of the government and the private sector was taken down, perhaps inadvertently, but oh so effortlessly, by a journeyman reporter, Aaron Humes, who turned Singh's public portfolio to fumes in an hour. A curious historical moment in the upside-down corona world, but perhaps not so good for journalism.
In this business, you have to have that trust. If you want to get to the bottom of a story, if you really want to be able to have that network where you can pick up the phone and say, hey, you know what? I'm looking into this story. I need your comment. The last thing you need to become is shunned in this industry. That's the last thing you need. And the last thing we need as a media on a whole is to have anybody not want to talk to us for fear that something like this happens to them.
I think it puts a chill on some level of media operation because, people will always ask now, you record me?
We reached out to Singh for a post-resignation interview today, but he declined, as did his unlikely nemesis, Aaron Humes. The Taiwanese embassy in Belize is preparing to make a donation to the Ministry of Health of 60,000 made in Taiwan face masks for all the frontline medical personnel who risk their lives to look after sick Belizeans during this COVID-19 pandemic. The masks, described as high quality, was shipped from Taipei a week ago, and they had to be sent to Cincinnati and Miami in the United States. They were then routed to Panama City, Guatemala City, and they arrived in Belize yesterday. There was a bit of procedure that needed to be carried out at the Philip Goulston International Airport for the donation to get clearance from customs. The masks will be handed over to the Ministry of Health this week. We'll take a break now, but when we come back, Bishop Wright passes. We'll look back at his legacy, plus the tough questions for Boots on the new $10 to $18 million food package program. Don't go away.
Digi, your national telecom, would like to assure all Belizeans that we will continue to keep you connected during this challenging time, providing you with high-quality services that you depend upon each day. The resilience and the reliability of both our staff and our networks will ensure that you are able to keep working, learning, and most importantly, communicating with your loved ones at home and abroad. This is what matters most at this time.
Boosting Diginet speeds for free to over 20,000 customers and pledging over $7 million to the COVID-19 Relief Fund by way of $1 million in cash and $6 million in value to our customers is just one of our ways of showing we are here for Belize.
You can depend on Digi. Together, we will get through this challenging time and emerge even stronger. Stay safe, Belize.
Confused? Overwhelmed? Stay in the know with COVID-19 Watch. Weekdays at 9:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Channel 7 and also on Facebook at Colorblind Multimedia Productions, 7 News Belize and Digi Belize. Stay informed, stay vigilant, stay healthy.
Doric McGowan Wright, Bishop Emeritus of Belize City, passed away at 5:25 a.m. this morning. The 74-year-old had a long history of medical complications, including vision problems. Wright was ordained as auxiliary to Bishop Osmond P. Martin on April 4th of 2002. He was known for his compassion, his offhanded humor, and was a staunch defender of his faith, and also outspokenly opposed some aspects of the government's 2013 promotion of same-sex orientation rights. Today, Cherise Halsall spoke to Wright's childhood friend and brother in the church, Father Noel Leslie, about the jovial and compassionate bishop, surely to be remembered fondly by parishioners, family, and friends.
I met Bishop Wright at Holy Redeemer Boys' School in the 50s. He had come from another school to Holy Redeemer, and more so I encountered him often when we were at a service. We served for several years at the cathedral, and then during his high school years we journeyed on as friends. After high school, we both became teachers, and again our friendship grew. And you know, as young people, we meet in the evenings, Saturday evenings, and so forth, go here, there, and everywhere. And so again, that friendship just blossomed more and more and more. Loss of his mother, his two sisters, and his brother Norman in the 1961 hurricane did have a great effect on him. I think psychologically he never forgot that terrible time when he had to battle with his life and was able to save himself in a tree.
The bishop would commemorate that deliverance years later in his official coat of arms.
Lots of things I remember, you just can't forget it. You know? As I sat on that tree, I looked around, I just saw water. I thought maybe I was the only one alive. I thought maybe the whole country was covered with water. And I can recall my father shouting at me. He was standing on the side of a house. All three walls had gone down, and he was on the fourth side. And he called and asked what I knew of the family. And I told him, as far as I know, my mother drowned, because that I saw for sure.
He went off to the seminary. Actually, he didn't talk very much about it, but I noticed after Vatican II, we had several Bible services at the cathedral, and he would take part in those. And it was then that I began to have a suspicion of what he might be thinking about. And sure enough, he did enter the seminary. He studied for diocesan clergy at Conception Seminary in Kansas, Missouri. And then from there, he went on to Kenrick. And of course, our friendship continued all through those years. I think as a priest, he didn't have many challenges as such. He carried on his pastoral work as usual. When he became a bishop, yes, that's when some challenges came, and I think he dealt with them the best way he possibly could. Before he entered the seminary, as a regular young man, you know, went to parties and so forth, and he enjoyed being among friends in good conversation and going to different places, and he loved to dance and loved to sing. In fact, he served as a member of the Belize Choral Society for many, many years. So that's a part of his singing. As far as dancing is concerned, even after he got ordained, you know, he would show us certain steps and how to dance. Well, certain things of that, he'd make us laugh then.
He made them laugh, even at his ordination.
For instance, this morning, when I was combing my hair and my beard, I looked at the man in the mirror and I said, "You surely wouldn't be my choice." But then I tell myself what I've told people many times. You see, you have to talk to yourself every now and again. And I told myself, God never calls you to do a job and he leaves you on your own. He's always there to assist you.
for the parishioners, what do you think they will remember him by?
Well, first of all, his joviality, his jokes, and so forth. He loved hospital ministry, and he spent much time going to Belize City Hospital. So people and nurses who served at that time will remember him as a daily visitor to the Belize City Hospital at the time, the KHMH.
A priest who found joy in comforting the sick, taken at a time like this. And in the bishop's last days, he may have been aware of the empty churches caused by fear surrounding the coronavirus. In light of the coronavirus, what do you think he would be saying to his people at this time?
Be steadfast, be strong, pray, and his prayer be that this menace would be driven away quickly.
Cherise Halsall, 7 News.
And the Governor General of Belize, His Excellency Sir Colville Young, expressed deep sorrow at the passing of Bishop Wright. Sir Colvin praised the bishop as an outstanding religious leader and great musician whose, quote, friendship and encouragement of Belizean styles and idioms in music was an inspiration while he sang in the Belize Choral Society for years. At the top of the news, we told you about the launch of the food package program to put groceries and supplies directly into the hands of the most needy. Initially, as many as 3,000 persons are expected to qualify for the $150 support package. They are invited to call a hotline and screened for the program based on need and qualification. Basically, they cannot be receiving any other type of government assistance, either in unemployment payments or pantry program, or have a job. Like we said, it is for the most needy, but at $10 million or more spending in hyperspeed, questions about transparency arise, and we put those to the minister today.
How much is the global figure being spent? How much do you all have for this food package program? Is it as much as 10 million?
We have 10 million in hand, but for a 3 months period, we average it like 35,000 family countrywide. That will run us like $18.2 million for the next 3 months.
Whenever, my experience tells me, whenever you see money to spend in a disaster time, be careful, because money could spend wild, and the usual oversights or the usual controls that are built into the system could be overlooked in the interest of facilitating the delivery of goods and service. So maybe in that process, extra people they hustle. Real talk.
Well, extra people they hustle? How?
Somebody has to be the source of the goods. Somebody have to fill up their back.
I'll tell you how it works to serve. Because obviously we only look for hustle and where they think people they look for thief or get away with. How the process works? When you are approved, you get a referral number and the ministry say to you what store to go. The list is forwarded to the store. You have to carry your ID and you sign for your goods. Okay. So I don't know what better system than that you want. And that is why we are having a problem, because people, they clamor that, oh, people need food, people this and people that. And then, in other words, that to waive the process. The process cannot be waived, sir, if we are need us to be accountable to the IA5 in terms of the money. So at the end of the day, no approval cannot come from no minister, no church leader, only from the public officers after their interview.
But it's going to certain stores.
Well, the thing is that we have opened as much as we could and we continue to do to ask the neighborhood stores.
You get concerned about the controls because everything is being spent in a rush because the people need it in a rush. Will there be...
Hold up, sir. It look like you don't understand the processes that I'm saying to you. Everything not is spent in our rush. Like, for example, if you don't get approval from the Ministry of Human Development, you can't get no package. Package not the out there, they give out like that, where people they go about in a truck and say, you need help. You need to make sure...
But are the decisions on who receiving the money, the stores, are those decisions being made by technical people, or is it being made by friend and friend?
No, they're not by friend and friend. I just explained to you again, sir. And I'm sure that you're the more wise and will say that we are opening up.
Okay.
We are opening up to stores that have the capability countrywide to help us. That's all we're saying.
Those wanting to get into the program can call the Ministry of Human Development at 636-5743, 627-3634, or 629-8100 for information or access to either the food package or food pantry program. Earlier in the news, we told you that the national state of emergency and lockdown will remain in effect until at least the end of this month, when it may be relaxed, extended, or strengthened. All that depends on what kind of progress the community makes with limiting COVID infections. But according to the Director of Health Services, Dr. Marvin Manzanero, on yesterday's Meet the Experts, it will be a year or more before any semblance of pre-COVID normalcy is restored.
The current lockdown, I know, is going to be at least until the end of next week or the end of the month. But that's simply just for us to be able to get a grasp of the total amount of cases. I don't know that we will have an immediate reopening recommendation from our end. And even if there is, you will understand that life will not be the norm. I mean, whatever we had as a norm is not going to be the norm as we move along. We more than likely, all the little lines that we have to now make to go to the supermarket, to go anywhere, those will have to continue to remain because COVID-19 is here to stay.
Last week, we told you how the National Met Service was forecasting that the country would be facing a second consecutive year of drought, while the Department of Rural Development and the Belize Water Services Limited are both recommending that Belizeans conserve as much water as they can in this time of hardship. The Department of Rural Development notes that the country is currently experiencing a heat wave, so they are reminding members of village communities who are heavily affected by the drought to treat their community water access as a precious and finite resource. Villagers should stay away from filling up large pools, washing vehicles, allowing their faucets to run while brushing their teeth, and taking long showers. BWS, on the other hand, is reporting that customers in San Ignacio and Santa Elena are currently suffering lower water pressure or outages. The customers most heavily affected are in areas of higher elevation, such as the residents of Santa Cruz and the Cristo Rey Road. Weather conditions have caused customers to increase consumption significantly. To directly assist those affected, BWS has coordinated efforts with the Town Council to deliver water directly. They are asking all customers to conserve water and avoid using it for non-essential matters like vehicle washing, watering gardens or streets, or for refilling pools. And that's all we have for you for tonight. Thanks for watching. With your news, I'm Indra Craig. Remember to watch streaming video of this newscast at 7newsbelize.com, and remember to keep yourself and others safe. Maintain your safety and hygienic practices, social distancing of at least 3 feet, washing hands for 20 seconds, and not touching your face. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay alert, and stay home, but also stay calm. Don't panic, and make sure to join me back here tomorrow at 6. Curfew starts at 8, so please stay indoors. Have a great night.